Okay, so there are still three more types of problems that we're going to talk about in terms of application problems that have to be considered before we leave all this information behind for the year. Remember, your test is next week. We are pretty much done with everything we're going to be doing. The first type is the type that involves going two opposite directions. The second involves, I guess you could call it number games, is how I kind of describe it. And the third is the type that requires a direct translation. I'm going to discuss all three types in this video, and then you're going to work on a Math Excel assignment to practice the skills discussed in today's video. So the first thing again we're going to talk about is the problems in which you are going to go opposite directions. So if you imagine an airplane flying east, it doesn't really matter what direction it's flying, but if you could just imagine walking, I guess, in this situation, you're walking in a direction and the wind's blowing in your face, then it actually slows you down. Even though you try to walk as fast as you can, the wind blowing back at your face actually slows you down. Whereas if you're walking in a direction and the wind is at your back, it actually speeds you up. Well, that's what the opposite direction problem is about. And what it's talking about is like an airplane flying east and then flying west. If the wind is going to blow the same direction, then it's going to slow the airplane down in one direction, and it's also going to speed the airplane up while going in the same direction. So these types of problems, again, are very easy to set up. Afterwards, again, it's up to you and your ability to use substitution elimination to solve them. So one of the questions we're going to see is going to be like this. The airplane is able to travel 595 miles per hour while flying with the wind. While it's returning against the wind, it's only able to travel 505 miles per hour. So again, this is with the wind, so the wind is speeding it up. This is against the wind, which means that the wind is slowing it down. It wants you to set up and solve a system to determine the speed of the airplane and the speed of the wind. So what I'm going to do is use X for the airplane and Y for the wind. It doesn't really matter what you use, but when you do your equations today on Math Excel, make sure you use X and Y. It doesn't matter which one's which. But the thing is, if it's traveling with the wind, that means the airplane speed adds on to the wind speed together. So this is the airplane and the wind working together. So the airplane speed plus the wind speed equals 595. While going against the wind, we would have the airplane speed and subtract the wind speed, because the wind is fighting against it, equals whatever the slower speed is, which is 505. At that point, we're talking about elimination. You can, if you want to, switch all your signs, and we can do that. But one other thing you could do as you're starting to get used to this, if elimination, the whole point is to eliminate, you have a positive y and a negative y here. You could actually just add these two things up, eliminate them out, and actually that's what we're going to do on this one. And then we'll try the other way on the second one. But like I said, on this one, you can actually just say these y's are already opposite. So add these up, you get 2x. Your y's actually cancel out. And 595 and 505 make, I think that is 1100. Don't have my calculator with me right now. And then from that, you divide them both by 2. And you end up with x equaling, 2 goes into 11 5 times with 1 left over. It'll be 550. So x representing the speed of the airplane, as I kind of marked here on my paper, means that the airplane is traveling 550 miles per hour. If I want to know the speed of the wind, I simply take that 550 and plug it back in using my elimination substitution tactics, which is to rewrite one of those parts and solve. So I subtract 550. That cancels. 5 minus 0 is 5. 9 minus 5 is 4. 5 minus 5 is 0. So y is 45. X is 550. So the speed of the airplane is 550 miles per hour, and the speed of the wind is 45 miles per hour. But again, that's not such a hard thing to solve. It's just a matter of making sure you know how to set them up. Really, that's been what we've been focusing on this last week anyway, is just making sure we know how to set up the problems so that we can do what we need to do. Another one, while traveling upstream, John is able to travel 8 miles per hour in his boat. While traveling downstream, he's able to travel 14 miles per hour. What's the speed of John's boat, and what is the speed of the current? Now again, when you're talking about a river, if you've ever seen it, the water kind of flows down towards wherever it's going. And what happens is, if the water is flowing this way and you're going that way, that is called going upstream, because you're going against where the water is going. And that would slow you down, because again, the water is working against you. If you're going downstream, it means you're going with the direction of the wind. So in this situation, it says traveling upstream, which means it's going to be the boat minus the speed of whatever the water is, because again you're going upstream, so it's slowing you down, is equal to 8 miles per hour. Traveling downstream, which means the speed is going to actually speed you up, so x plus y would equal 14 miles per hour. So again, the speed of the boat, which is constant, minus the speed of the water, because you're going against the water, you're going upstream, is equal to 8 miles per hour. The speed of the boat, which is constant, plus the speed of the current, which is adding to you, makes it 14 miles per hour. And again, this time we're going to actually do it the way that we normally would, which is to eliminate the x's. Notice our x's already matched, so I'll switch all my signs. I get a negative 2y equals a negative 6. I switch my signs over, and I divide by 2 to get the answer of y is equal to 3. Now remember, that's the speed of the current, because y was the second part. So if I want the speed of the boat, I go back to one of my problems. I substitute 3 in for y, and I end up with x equaling 11. So the boat is going 11 miles per hour, which is pretty fast, and the current is going 3 miles per hour. And again, that is how you find that information. Alright, that is if things are going opposite directions. The second type is the number games. So again, when you're talking about number games, it means they're going to give you two different types of numbers. So number games, it just requires that you understand the wording in the paragraph. It is extremely simple to set up, and again, it's just your skill level as to whether you can solve it. But just remember that the word sum means add, and the word difference means subtract. So in a word game, as I like to call them, type of question, you'll see something like the sum of two numbers is 29. The difference of the same two numbers is 7. What are the numbers? Well, if the sum of two numbers is 29, that means that x plus y is equal to 29. Alright? As long as you know that, then it says the difference of two numbers is 7, or the difference of the same two numbers. That means that x minus y is equal to 7. And again, notice how easy this is to solve. I'm going to go ahead and go with the common sense way. I have a positive y and a negative y, so this is ready to go. You can switch all the signs if you want. Actually, we will do it that way to stay consistent. So we'll switch all the signs. X's go away. 2y comes down with 22. Dividing by 2, I end up with y equal to 11. If I want the other number, I plug my 11 in, so x plus 11 equals 29. I subtract my 11 to get x equals 18. And notice that 18 plus 11 is 29. 18 minus 11 is 7. We have now found the numbers. So again, sum and difference just means add them and subtract them. It's kind of like the first one that we talked about in terms of going opposite directions. It's just that you have to understand the wording. So again, sum means add, difference means subtract. So looking at the second one of these, just real fast, the sum of two numbers is 65. The difference of the same two numbers is 19. What are the numbers? So again, the sum of the values is 65, so x plus y equals 65. The difference of the same two numbers is 19, so x minus y equals 19. Again, I'm going to go ahead and stay consistent. You could eliminate the y's if you want, but I'm going to go ahead and switch all the signs. My x's go away. I end up with 2y equals 46. 9 plus 6 is 15, yep. And then divide by 2, getting y is equal to 23. If I want the other number, I simply have to take one of my equations, x plus y, equals 65. So x plus 23 equals 65. And you subtract 23 from both sides, with x equaling 42. And again, 42 and 23 do make that, and that is about 19 away from 23. So once again, we have actually found those numbers. Alright. The last type of problem requires that you be able to translate a number sentence. The good news is that we did it a long time ago in the fourth quarter. The bad news is a lot of us don't remember what we did in the second quarter or even the third quarter, but we'll try to work our way through that. But again, what we're going to do first is just look at some statements together. And again, using x and y, we're going to just type these in. So a statement like one angle is twice as big as the other. What we would do if one angle is twice as big as the other, we'll say x, which would be one angle, equals 2 times y. It doesn't matter if you put x equals 2y or y equals 2x. just notice that this is equal to 2 times that, this is equal to 2 times that. Either one of those two things works. Just pick whatever your style is and go with it. Because I usually put x first, I just always put x equals because it's easier for me that way. Another statement might be one sibling's age is 3 more than the other. So one sibling is, there's your is again, just like is here in the first one. The is means equal, so one sibling's age is 3 more than the other one. 3 more than means add 3, and again remember that 3 goes last because that says more than, so it'd be y plus 3. So again, one angle is twice as big as the other one. One angle is twice as big. This one sibling's age, x, is, which means equals 3 more than the other one, which should be 3 plus or y plus 3. I recommend that you always put the number last, because if you do that for subtraction and you put the number first, you're actually going to miss it, so be careful on that. The big one you're going to work with is the one like this, which is one city's population is 15 less than 6 times the other one. So one city's population, I'll put x, is again means equals 15 less than 6 times the other. Again, less than means put this number last, put that number first, and that's 6 times the other, so we'll put 6x, and less than means subtract your 15 from it. And that is how you're going to translate that. Again, one city's population is 15 less than 6 times the other one. Remember, more than, less than means reverse the order of the numbers, and that is how we work that problem out. Notice that each of these statements is not very difficult to work with. The only change is just translating them into, or translating them while they're in the middle of a bigger word problem. So let's just look at some examples now. This is actually a geometry type of question, but I mean it's doable. It talks about the sum of two angles being 90 degrees, and one angle is 9 more than twice the other one. Well, we've already seen this one where it says the sum of two angles is 90 degrees. That means that x plus y must equal 90. We learned that in the last one. Sum means add them up, so x plus y is 90. Then we have the statement, one angle is 9 more than twice the other one. This looks just like what we're talking about here. One angle, x, is means equals 9 more than twice the other one. So remember, 9 more than means put plus 9. Twice the other one means 2y plus 9. From there we go to solve that problem. And so we have an x all by itself. In this case we'll use substitution. So x equals 2y plus 9, we'll put that here, which is why we put 2y plus 9 in parentheses, plus y equals 90. Again, we just put that in for x. Because there's nothing attached to this, we can combine our like terms. That makes 3y plus 9 equals 90. Subtracting 9 from both sides, you get 3y equals 81. And then dividing by 3. 3 goes into 8 twice with 2 left over. 3 goes into 21 7 times, so y has to be 27. And if you want the other number, again, you take the original equation, x plus y equals 90, put 27 in for y, and subtract it from both sides to find your answer. 3 makes 30, 63 would be your other angle. So 63 degrees and 27 degrees would be your two angles, which you'll learn about what angles are and how they work, I guess, when you take geometry. But other than that, like I said, the problem is not hard once you translate it. And so as long as you slow down and make sure you focus on the translation part, which is to make your system, everything should work out the way you need it to. Alright? Another one says, two rival schools have a total of 1,625 students. One school has 400 less than twice the other one. How many students are in each school? With no calculator, this should be fun. Again, it says two rival schools have a total. Remember, total means you're putting those two things together, which means I can probably say that x school number 1 and school number 2 added makes 1625. This one says one school has 400 less than twice the other one, so what we can say is one school is 400 less than twice the other one, so I'm going to put x equals, again, 400 less than means minus 400, not 400 minus, because less than means flip it. Twice the other one means 2, and since this is x, we'll put y. If I were to put a y there, then that would be an x. But again, one school is 400 less than twice the other school, is what we're looking at there. So because this x is alone, we're going to substitute. Substituting that in, we get 2y minus 400 plus y equals 1625. Because there's nothing in front of the parentheses, we can put them together. 3y minus 400 equals 1625. To get rid of this 400, we're going to add it to both sides. You get 3y equals, well, adding this up, that's 520, carry the 1, 2025. And then you divide both sides by 3. And again, this is how I do my division. You can eventually learn how to do this. 3 goes into 20 6 times with 2 left over. 3 goes into, I now view that as 22 7 times with 1 left over. And 3 goes into 15 5 times. So y is equal to 675. And then from there, again, we go ahead and we put x plus y equals 1625 because that is the total for your initial equation here. I just got it back from up there. And you will now plug in 675 for y. So x plus 675 equals 1625, and we have a nice subtraction problem to do, again with no calculator. So x equals, this would be 0. I cannot do 2 minus 7, so I have to borrow from this 6, turning this into 12. 12 minus 7 is 5. I cannot do 5 minus 6, so I make that 15 minus 6, which is 950 students in that one. It's been a long time since I've done long division, or long multiplication, or long subtraction either. Anyway, with all that done, your Math Excel today is designed to work on some of your basic skills. So again, it's going to start with just basic stuff, translate the equation. I'm going to give you a good amount of those. Don't let the size of the assignment bother you, because again, the size of the assignment is so you get enough practice. But like I said, once you get to that, answer those questions, get to where you're going, and then when you finish that, you are going to get a worksheet from Mrs. Hines or Mr. Kelly. And from there, you are going to work on that with the answers being taped to the back door. Just make sure you use the whole hour to work, practice, and prepare for tomorrow's quiz so that you can do well on that. Again, some of us still need to get our grades in the right direction, and that's how we do it. So good luck with everything.